Hi everyone, this is Jim Tolles, and today I want to talk about the unexpected spiritual awakening. And this actually arises pretty regularly because awakening isn't really something you expect. It's just something that arises. And the expectation, what is expecting? It's the ego. The ego's got expectations and rules and guidelines, and it needs 30 years of meditation and a spiritual teacher and energy transmission before it can have all that. Right? These are things that don't matter. They seem like they matter, but they don't. And I've definitely run across most of the people who talk to me have had these sort of unexpected spiritual awakenings. I think it's actually fairly rare that somebody's in a focus work with a spiritual teacher in a meditation that it actually arises there. Awakening can really arise anytime because awakening simply is. And this is an important thing to remember, that it's already here, right? There's nothing that needs to really change. Mostly what I see with a lot of people, the unexpected spiritual awakening can be driven by definitely intense pain. Intense pain tends to show people that something is wrong. And when they finally see that something is wrong and that it has to do with themselves, they turn inward. And that turning inward can be strong enough for some people that that glass breaks, right? The mirror breaks and they see themselves and something comes forth. And then, of course, after that unexpected spiritual awakening, there's a whole load of seeking that will come for a lot of people who probably weren't even very spiritual. And I know many people who they were not spiritual people. They weren't seeking this. They weren't meditating. They weren't doing a lot of things. It just arose. It arose on while sitting on the couch watching Oprah eating a burrito. And I'm not making that one up. That one's real. I know of somebody that's how it happened. For me, and for a lot of us, it's a big letting go. It's this space where suddenly there's nothing that we want. In that space where that desire, that external focus of trying to get something from the world, get someone in the world, when that truly, authentically goes away for many people, suddenly there's this opening. All this space arises. And people are like, aha, what is this? What is this spaciousness? And if the ego mind is too fearful and too caught up in old things, it immediately rushes back in and makes this a terrible event. Everything starts falling apart. It can't hold on to anything. It becomes absolutely terrified. For others who just accept it, it's like, well, this just feels good. I'm just going to hang out here. This may be a phase that goes on for a while. This expansiveness, this huge spaciousness, this huge love, this huge sense of what is real. Those are some of the kind of the key themes, key spiritual awakening signs. There really aren't a lot of spiritual awakening signs beyond the fact of that abiding presence, that it's always here. There's nothing that you need to do to get it. It's always here, and it's always very alive and very aware. This space of love, space of knowing what is true and what is real. Those are the main ones, really. Everything else that everybody talks about as far as symptoms and signs, that's more like things are changing inside. And in that way, anything can be a sign of this process, kind of that external factor that's in a shift. Because what happens is like we start to align to this awareness. And initially, most of us are still caught in duality. And so there's a lot of the unconscious aspects of it. So it's like this layer on top that starts getting peeled away from the inside, as opposed to peeling away from the outside, which is what a lot of people on the spiritual path try to do with teachers and tools. It helps for sure. Have somebody show you different things about yourself. The awakening does it from the inside, which is much more powerful. So it just starts to peel off the stuff inside, and that creates a real great intensity. And where the work of healers and spiritual teachers like myself come in is we combine that focused awareness of that we have with that awakened person. And so it's like two forces coming against and grinding away stuff, which, as you can kind of tell by this, it doesn't look very comfortable, does it? And sometimes it's not. Where there's openness, that connection happens, and there's this beautiful sense of union that can happen between two people. It doesn't have to be a teacher or a healer, right? And these are things that start to arise very, very quickly for somebody in an unexpected awakening. So it's very overwhelming at first for the ego because it's still probably in the categorization mode. How do I handle it? What do I do with it? How do I get more of this? This is feeling kind of good. I like this. I don't want to get rid of this anytime soon. But unfortunately, awakening isn't really a state of awareness per se. Like it is the state of awareness that runs through everything. But when you're feeling really good, that's a specific type of state of awareness. And when you're feeling really bad, that can also be a part of awakening as things are being churned up inside you. This is another state of awareness. And all states of awareness are transitory. And that's an important thing to remember in the unexpected spiritual awakening. Also in the unexpected spiritual awakening, there is this real interesting deftness between focusing your spiritual discipline, or creating one in the first place, and then letting go, right? So there's this way where we focus and then we let go, focus, then let go. If you're always focusing, always trying to work on things, things don't get a chance to rest and to align and to flow in their own way, because this whole process is very intelligent, and that needs to be remembered, especially if this wasn't something you're looking for, which, as I said, is probably most of you. So allowing is just really, really important. However, we don't get lost into any sort of laissez-faire, passive space. We're like, oh, I'm just going to let it all happen and I don't have to do anything. It doesn't work like that. Because usually what happens is the more you come into your own truth, you will be very clear about things you need to take action on in this life. It will just be like night or day. And if you don't, there's like this inner pressure that starts to build inside of that own flow, your flow that wants to go there. And if you're resisting by the space of being just passive, you'll start to feel really, really uncomfortable. And it's just you. It's you resisting you. That's why you're feeling uncomfortable. It's the resistance. It's not that, you know, this inner part of you is now punishing you or something. But this too is also an ego idea of like, things happen to me. This awakening happened to me. This awakening already is. What happened is you became aware of it. In the unexpected awakening, in any spiritual awakening, you become aware in a very deep and profound way on your heart, body, mind, and soul level that you are love. That you are the divine. And that's a really beautiful thing. And I encourage you to remember that, you know, as things start to shift and change in your life, really will change unalterably, but life is always changing unalterably. It's just before we had the illusion that we could control it and keep it going in a certain direction. So enjoy this awakening, however it has come, however it's arisen. It simply is. And just remember to keep resting into it, keep following your heart, listening to your inner knowing, and building the practice and the life that most suit you. Once again, my name is Jim Tolles. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I blog regularly at spiritualawakeningprocess.com. Have a beautiful day.